Okay, you filming?
An hour long.
This has been the worst year for my liver. Hi, Bernice. Hi, Bernice. Early this year, I finally turned 22, just like Taylor Swift. Of course, I indulged in that 22 lifestyle. Drinking, checking myself to a hotel, going to casinos, gambling, all of that. And it's so exciting and relieving, honestly, to go somewhere that I'm supposed to be and know that I got the proof. Like, I got the ID. They say, can I please check your age really quickly? I pull out the ID and I say, yes, ma'am. Here you go. I was originally going to make this video when I was 21, but I procrastinated. So now I'm almost 23. It gave me a good perspective. If I was to make that video when I was 21, I wouldn't have experience being 21, you know? So now I'm 22, so I got a year of experience under the belt. In my 22 years, I have learned a lot of things, and I want to share it kind of selfishly so I can look in a few years, how did I progress, what other things did I learn, or what things did I learn that I now don't resonate with. But also, if someone's watching this video, that they can learn from my mistakes, or they can be inspired to make their own. So here's 22 things I learned at 22. Number 1, I trust myself to make the best decisions for myself. I kind of still deal with this. I have a tendency to overthink all of the options, all of the consequences, anything that if I do this, this will happen. I need to make sure I'm making the best decisions so that the things that will happen are good for me. The problem with that is that it takes way too much time. Another thing is it doesn't let me take risks. If I find something to be a little bit risky, then in my mind, there's a safer route. And usually the safer route is not the most efficient, and it won't help me grow, because if I continuously, it's kind of like lifting weights. And don't get me started, I hate the gym. So actually this is gonna be a bad analogy because I don't lift weights. What I think happens is you lift weight, you have to start reaching for heavier weights. Otherwise, you're just gonna get used to the weight you're using, and there's no growth in that. This year, I have been getting more involved in things that make me uncomfortable. Even if something in my head is telling me not to do it, I know that if I do it, most of the time, I am making a choice that is helping me in the end, and that is going to benefit me, or at least I think it is going to benefit me. And I think that's most important when you're making decisions for yourself. If you have the intent that this is going to help you, this isn't hurting anybody else, then make the decision. Just trust yourself. Don't worry. If you feel like this is right for you, it's going to be right for you. Number 2, my surroundings work for me. I've kind of always been someone who is a problem solver. If there's an issue in my life, I will fix it. I'm also a shopaholic. Well, I was a shopaholic. I'm doing a lot better now. But those two things, problem solving and also shopping, has led me to find that there's so many things to just help your life be more convenient. Making my bed in the morning really gets my day going and it helps me feel like I've already accomplished something. However, I love to paint my nails. Look at my nails. This ain't gel, this is regular nail polish. If I start tucking in my sheets into my bed, it's gonna, ruin my nails. So I bought a spatula. All I do is I just jab it inside. And people think I'm crazy because there's a spatula right next to my bed. And they're like, what is that? And I'm like, let me show you. And I start jabbing it in the side of my bed. But there are so many things that you can buy or you can adjust to make your life work for you. There's so many people I know that will continuously complain about something and complain. And I hate complainers because I'm like, girl, go on Amazon, go to a thrift store, literally rearrange something, move something closer to where you're going to use it. I know that if my gym bag is not packed, I'm not going to go to the gym because I hate the gym. So I learned if I have something that is bothering me, there is something that can help me. Number 3, I understand my values. It was only a few years ago when I found out what values even meant. I thought that they were some like corporate bull jobs made up so they can say, oh, we get working ethical because we put respect as our number 1 value. It wasn't until I was in therapy, my therapist had me list out what did I value. I honestly had no idea what she was talking about. I was like, what do you mean I value? Of course I value respect. Of course I value this and that and this. And I was like, yeah, that's important to me. And she was like, okay, but what really matters to you? Like, what are things that you care deeply about? And if others inflict the opposite value onto that, it really hurts you. So she didn't let me just babble to try to move the conversation forward. She made me take a little worksheet home that had all the values on there, or a list of values. I had to go through them, and it took me like 2 weeks to finally figure out what I valued. Once you figure out what your values are, you're able to use those to kind of guide your life. And I see why corporations use it, because in my personal life, it is so helpful. My values are fairness, honesty, patience, and understanding. Once you learn what your values are, you find navigating life to be a lot easier, because instead of thinking so hard about if this person, if this situation, if this object is good for you, you can say, okay, does this person match my values? Does this situation match my values? Does this job match my values? And if it doesn't, it's going to be extremely difficult, or it's going to be not worth it. I think it's so important to make sure to take some time to look into your values. If you want a video, let me know. I'm already lost count. I'm not conceited for respecting myself. Ooh. Let me tell you, ever since I was like, I want to say elementary, everyone's called me conceited, narcissistic, egotistical.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before.
And I've always hated those words being attached to me because I've been in therapy and I literally went to therapy thinking I was a narcissist. Her telling me, no, you're probably not a narcissist, and then no, you're not a narcissist. Everyone telling you that you're a narcissist because you do what's best for you, because you respect yourself, you don't self-deprecate. When I was in middle school and elementary school, I always remember just being myself, being honest with myself, and not really having too many insecurities. I can't remember some insecurities, or if I did have an insecurity, I kept it extremely hidden and I never let it got to me. That made people upset to see, and I don't want to like hype myself up. Like, I feel like me talking about this is just gonna create more comments about narcissism, but it's so true that I've always been really confident in myself. There's been a lot of times where I haven't been confident and I just didn't share it, and people take that as, oh, you're so egotistical, like you think you have no insecurities. Everyone has an insecurity. Oh, you made a mistake and you don't for it. Oh, I don't think I can say that. Oh, you made a mistake and you don't, I don't know, do something really, really bad about it. You don't deeply apologize to every person in the whole wide world and kiss their feet because you would rather work on improving yourself than crying and feeling bad for yourself. People don't see that as normal. People think that when you make a mistake, you have to succumb to the earth falling onto you and you deserve deep, deep torture, bruh. And that's just not who I am. If I've made a mistake, it's always, sorry, let me fix that. I try my best to not repeat the mistake. I learn from them. But if someone's your friend and you set a boundary and you respect yourself and you don't self-deprecate yourself and you don't let other people hate on you, but they get upset with that, that's probably a sign that they're a little bit envious. Please don't call me conceited, don't call me narcissistic, because I know I'm not. So awkward, bro. Silence is powerful. Okay, let me give you a little story.
Hello, so I'm gonna interrupt because the way I explained it, the story was very long and we need to cut it a little shorter. So long story short, I was at work, this lady was being mean, she wanted all this free stuff, and I kept saying, no, you can't have the free stuff because it's policy, standing my ground, I was proud of myself, and then my manager just scoots in and it's like, I ate this part up, listen.
So my assistant manager goes, oh, I'm so sorry, like, she goes, I'm so sorry, like, let me just fix that for you. Fix? Like it was broken? No.
Anyways, so she apologized on my behalf, even though I wasn't wrong. And yeah, first time I ever cried at work, and also the last time, and I'll explain why.
I was so sad. I remember I went home. That was the first time I ever cried after my shift because I just kept thinking about it. I was able to condense myself, chill out, and at that point, I made a promise to myself. 1, we're going to separate work and life, and 2, we are not going to engage in dumb behavior. We are going to stay silent. Moment for silence. Moment for silence. So yeah. And this little tactic of staying silent, which basically means someone is trying to fight you, trying to argue with you, and it's not going to be productive, and you've already set this boundaries of, hey, we're not going to yell at each other. What people like that crave is your reaction, but we're not going to give them a reaction. We're going to stay silent. We're going to say, this conversation is over. We're going to say, let's do it at a different time when you're more calm. Let's say, once you want to respect my boundaries, we can have this conversation again. Please, please,
please don't prove I'm right.
Please don't ever feel like because you're being attacked, you need to attack back. Of course, there's certain situations where, you know, life or death, you got it. But there's many more situations where you can just walk away, you can end the call, you can stop watching, you can block. Just stay silent and protect your peace. Goals require climbing. So this is some advice from my therapist. I was like, girl, I cannot create goals and stick with them. I'm really good at having a vision and figuring out how I want to get there, but then I don't want to do it. I'm so lazy. I just want to sleep. Like, I don't want to do all of that work. Like, even thinking about it now, how I'm gonna have to edit this video, I don't want to do it. It's too much work.
I filmed this video on July 7th. And it is August 20th.
She helped me create a plan that I can actually visualize. And so let me explain it. So you're gonna imagine a ladder, right? You have this ladder, right? And those ladders have those little things that you have to climb up it. I don't know what they're called. The very top of the ladder is gonna be your goal. But you still have to climb this finger, this finger, this finger, this finger, and then you'll eventually reach your goal. And sometimes you may slip off, but you don't go all the way down, you just go down a level, right? Using the ladder analogy has helped my mind just chill out and understand that my goals require climbing. I'm not going to get up there by flying because I can't fly. I'm not going to get up there by hoping and believing and manifesting, even though I strongly believe in that. I need to climb to reach my goals. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. I used to think I was an extremely good listener. It turns out there's a difference between listening and hearing. That's where I really had to figure out, how do I become a good listener? And if someone spoke to me, I would feel the need to speak back. Like, that's what I thought a conversation was. I found myself thinking about what I was gonna say while someone was speaking, not listening to what they were actually saying. If someone's like, oh, my day was so nice, I'd be like, oh, no, really? My day was also pretty good. And then immediately cut them off. When you're having a conversation, you have 2 different roles, the listener role and then you have the speaker role. The person who is speaking gets to express their desires, their day, what's going on, express all of them. And if you're listening, you are actively taking that information in, you're processing it, which repeat could be a follow-up question. A mirror where you say, oh, your day was good? What happened? You don't want to think about what your response is going to be. Your response will come naturally if you are actively listening. Verify what you're hearing. You're going to summarize that to make sure that you're getting the gist of it, because especially when someone talks a long time, it's easy to kind of like have your mind go somewhere else. When you're able to understand the 2 roles of the listener and the speaker, you're able to have a much more productive and meaningful conversation. Ooh, I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite for saying this. Stop oversharing. It's gonna be so hypocritical because look at me, I'm on the internet talking about things about my life that nobody knows. I know so many people who talk to me and immediately start spilling their whole life. Why'd you just trauma dump on me? Like, I don't mean to be rude. I would want to hear that. But there's a time and a place.
And you did it at my birthday dinner.
I just met you. I don't even know your name. And you're going to tell me that your dad exploded on Saturn. Like, and then on social media, and I see this a lot with relationships, and I'm also very guilty of this. I was posting my relationship, yada, 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 ballerinas and fairies and sunshine, and then bam. All the posts were deleted. Everyone knew. But everyone's posting about all the good things, and some people are posting about the bad things. So I'm like, whoa, you are brave. But just think about it. When you're scrolling on Instagram or when someone's talking to you, they start sharing something, it's hard to not develop an opinion. I was just sharing that too. A lot of them didn't care. And when they did care, it was at the wrong time. Sharing your experience is super important. It builds relationships. Sharing your experiences with everybody is overdoing it, and it's not necessary. And that's why you work towards a level of trust that you can tell these deeper level, deeper meaning things that you wouldn't tell anybody else. If anything, it makes it a little bit more valuable that you share these certain things with only certain people versus sharing it with everybody and not everybody knows. One thing I always think about is if I said something to someone or if I share something to social media, the whole world got access to whatever I said. Would I be proud of it? Would I show my parents it? Would I show a hiring team? If you kind of have that mindset of would it be okay in these situations, and in most of them you're like, no, it's not okay, that's probably not a good idea to share it. Also, a side note that I see a lot of my friends do, posting on their story exactly where they are when they're there, that's not safe. Let's stop doing that. Social media is not real. I feel like this is said over and over and over again, and we preach all the time like everything you see on social media is Photoshop. Everything on social media is fake. And even though we say that, a lot of people still believe a lot of things on social media. Don't realize that there's a lot of tactics people use on social media to enhance their life. I actually deleted my personal Instagram because I found it kind of competitive, where I was competing with Photoshop pictures and I was competing with people with endless amounts of wealth. People in positions that I was not in, but I was putting myself at their level, and I felt really bad about myself. I thought I was stronger than that. I thought it wasn't gonna get me, but it did. Constantly comparing myself, and social media makes it so easy to compare yourself. When I did have my personal account, I made sure to unfollow any celebrity besides Beyonce and Ariana Grande. But everyone else I had to unfollow. I couldn't follow any brands because I didn't want to be manipulated by marketing. As a marketing major, they ain't gonna get me. I also deleted Instagram off my phone, like the app version, and for like a year or 2 years I had the Safari version, and let me tell you, thank God Instagram sucks on Safari. At that point I just deleted it because I was like, every time I use this, if I need a reply to someone on a DM, I had to like go in and out of the conversation like 12 times just to reply. Don't compare yourself to social media. It's not real. It's not real. Anger is not real. Now we're in fairyland because social media is not real, anger is not real. What's real actually? But we can get into that. But let's focus on anger. You don't understand how easy it was for me to block someone for talking behind my back. One time I did this, I unfollowed everybody in my school because one person was talking about me, and I said, everybody's talking about, so I can't trust no. So I unfollowed everybody, and then I like made my profile black and all that. I was dramatic as a kid. Even though it affected me kinda, it was actually kind of good to be angry. I was able to protect myself. And there's a lot of relationships I got out of because I was angry and I blocked. Looking back, I don't think that was the best way to end those those relationships, I think a conversation is probably better. I remember it was one of like my first sessions. She showed me this little sheet. I'll put it somewhere, and you can just Google it. It's called the feelings wheel. And she's like, you see this big section of anger? And I was like, yeah, I get angry all the time. I feel that big section. And she's like, look underneath. And there was just all these little feelings underneath it, and they were like all segmented. It clicked for me. It was like, oh my God, whenever I felt angry, I never was angry. I was betrayed, or I felt disrespected, or I felt small, I felt belittled. There was always something behind it, and anger was kind of my protection right in front, right? Once that clicked for me, it was so easy to be more calm and chill out and solve problems. Instead of saying, I'm angry, I hate you, black, I said, I feel extremely disrespected because this. You know how you did that? That made me feel extremely betrayed. And having those little setups allowed me to say, hey, I'm not angry. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I'm struggling. It allowed me to be a little bit more open and allow helpful suggestions. When someone just says they're mad, they're angry, and they provide no context, what do? And when you finally narrow that you're not angry, that's the protection that you're using to protect yourself, which in a lot of cases is helpful, but in a lot of cases it's not, you're able to move on to, okay, I'm this, I'm that. And it's so freeing to just get away from anger and understand that anger is not what I'm feeling. All right, I really gotta speed this up because I thought this video was gonna be 5 minutes long. I need to film for 53 minutes. So let's talk a little faster. Seek inspiration. There is so many endless distractions in our world. There are so many things that are made to get our attention and to mainly make us purchase something, because the world is run by money, y'all. You're not living, you're being controlled by TikTok, by TV shows, by movies, by advertisements, by sales. So many things that are implemented in this world to distract us when we really should be seeking out inspiration and seeking what makes us happy, what inspires us. This is a key driver in my life, is I want to be an inspiration, or I want to be inspired. And in this world of distractions, it's so vital to seek inspiration. You can't just sit in your room and expect to be inspired. You have to go out, you have to go to events, you have to go to a park, you have to go to a mountain, you have to go to an ocean. Places I love are museums, parks, just hanging out with people, or hanging out with the same people and doing something creative together. You'll be popular. I know about popular. Get the out of here. You're not finding me. Oh, I just moved on. Sometimes having a little mindless moment is necessary just to get through the day. Just don't let it control you. Don't be someone who is ruled by the media. I practice gratitude. I'm gonna make a whole video on this because it's so important. So I'm gonna keep it short. Every single day, think about something you're grateful for. Before you go to bed, think of something that you were grateful for during the day. And trust me, it'll make your life a billion times better. Because throughout the day, you won't have to think about what made you grateful. You would say, wow, that is a beautiful sunset. I'm so grateful for the sky and the sun and the clouds and whatever makes a sunset. Have patience, you are young. I'm at this point in my life where I just graduated college and I'm still figuring out what I want to do with my life. Where am I gonna work? Why am I not a billionaire? Sometimes I just need to chill out, and I need to practice what I preach. And something that's so important to me is patience, and I need to be more patient with myself and my life journey. I am 22. That's what, 22% of what I hope to live to. Sometimes I have to justify it with stats. I scroll on people's LinkedIns all the time and look at their history. There's people who graduate and they're not in their position of CEO until like 20 years after they graduate, and you can see in their history they worked this job, they got this internship, they worked at McDonald's, they were in at Express. No shade to all those places. Everyone starts somewhere. You may see someone as a CEO and want to be there, but you need to have patience and understand that you got to respect the journey that's ahead of you. If you constantly, at least for me, when I constantly think I'm not where I want to be because other people are in my place, I need to remember, if I want to get there, I need to be patient and understand that it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of climbing, and most importantly, it's going to take time. I need to respect that. Don't be mistreated. What would you do if someone kicked your cat? Would you say, that's so funny, you just kicked my cat? No, you would probably say something, you would probably call the cops, you would probably hit them. If someone kicked my cat, ooh, jail. It's so easy for me to protect my cat and to protect my friends. When I need to protect myself, I find it difficult because I don't want to do the wrong thing. I'm overstepping. It's not that big of a deal. A lot of the way I think now when I have a problem is, how would I talk to my friend about it? How would I help my friend in this situation? If you want advice, don't put yourself in places where you're going to be mistreated to begin with. I know I'm not going to be treated the best, but for whatever reason, I'm going to indulge, and then I'm not treated the best, and I'm what? Don't feel bad to stick up for yourself. Set that boundary. Prepare for spirals. I don't know a single human who doesn't fall into a spiral. And by spiral, I mean you're in this place where you're looking forward, but your world is moving and you just feel so nauseated and you don't want to continue. When I get in a spiral, I am so avoidant, so recluse. You're well, and when you feel like you're in a good place, you plan for how are you going to protect yourself during the spiral? How are you going to let other people know that you're spiraling and you're not going to just create some distance or create chaos with those people? For me, I know that when I get into these situations, I have a plan where I'm going to make sure that walks are a priority for me. I'm using my gratitude journal. You need to respect yourself. You need to respect people that are going to inevitably deal with your situation. And I hate saying deal as in like you're a burden. You're not, but your friends are going to have to deal with that. Practice stupid tax. My teacher was talking about how there was this one time where her client saw this like hot tub and they were like, oh, I love that hot tub. I can't wait to get this house and get my feet in that hot tub. They bought the house. They walk in. Where's the hot tub? And they realized that the previous owner took the hot tub and it wasn't in like the contract. And so what did my real estate teacher did? She bought them a teacher. She bought them a hot tub. She was a baddie. And she said, and that was called stupid tax. She explained it. She said, stupid tax is when you have to spend money to learn something new. Stupid tax can be applied to, you know, money, but it can also be applied to time, things you may lose. You do something dumb. You don't take it as a loss. You say, okay, I paid money. I paid time to learn something. And she said, from now on, I always make sure if someone likes a hot tub, that there's gonna be a hot tub. I make so many mistakes. Instead of dwelling on, oh my God, I lost $10 because I fell for this stupid scam. I say, okay, I fell for that scam. Now I'm gonna save billions of dollars because I ain't ever gonna do it again. It's an investment, guys. Everybody T-pose, bring it in. We're gonna be gentle with ourselves, okay? You deserve comfort and the space to be yourself and make mistakes. Bars. I wrote that in my notes and I forgot I wrote that, but that A didn't. If you already forgot however many I said before, just remember this. Please
don't prove I'm right.
be gentle with yourself. We hear it all the time, but it's so easy to forget to just treat yourself with kindness. Treat yourself how you would treat a little baby cat who's just learning how to walk. Because you're 22, you're learning new things. You're a baby little kitten in this big old nasty sneaky smelly world. You really only got yourself. The only person who is with you all the time is yourself. And when you're being mean to yourself, just remember you're being mean to someone who is your ride or die. Literally. They die, you die. This is more of a little time management skill I learned. It's to be flexible. I used to have a rigid, and I still do, have a rigid calendar of things to do. And if I missed one, my life's over.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, when you're not really fine, you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But not anymore. If you have a rigid schedule, it's going to be so difficult for you to get things done because the moment you miss something, you feel at a loss. I learned from a coaching session a concept of time bending, where it may say 5 p.m. on the clock and I may have something set for 5 p.m., but I'm able to warp that and I can move it to 6. I got the power to move it.
Back off! I have magic power!
Also, a side note, if your schedule is very rigid, no one's going to want to hang out with you. If you could only hang out for 15 minutes Sunday morning at 2 a.m., you ain't gonna have no friends. Believe in your worth. I feel like this little tiny dot on this big planet, in this big universe, and I know I'm sounding very Mother Nature right now. I need to realize right now, I see through my eyes. I look around and this is my perspective, this is my world.
And I feel like this year is really about like the year of just realizing stuff, and everyone around me, we're all just like realizing things.
I'm not being selfish to anybody by wanting to make the most of it. I never feel entitled. It's so difficult for me to accept that I deserve something until I start reminding myself, hey, all these people before you got to this position. What makes you any different? And this isn't advice because I'm still testing it out. What I've been doing to help me is develop a fake me who I want to be. I think that person is so smart. That person is so fun. That person can do anything. That person walks into the room and everyone's like, oh my God, I want to be that person so bad. When I'm feeling small, I think about that person who I want to be, who creates a statement. And that person's name is Bernice. So a little channel lore for you. So I think, how am I going to be like Bernice today? Bernice is asking for ketchup. So I always remind myself, you are important. Who you want to be is important. So be who you want to be. Whew. All right, I'm ending this. I'm honestly leaving you with the best advice. And it's that you cannot control everything. You can't change the weather. You can't control him. You can't control the system. You can't control what resources you have. There's a lot of things you can't control. But, and I hate using the word but, there's a lot of things you can control. Your reaction, how you're going to move forward, what you keep in your life, and what you discard. Oh my goodness. Where's the... I couldn't control that thing falling. but I can't control putting it back on. More importantly, I changed my behavior to control the situation a little bit better. There's gonna be things in your life that are out of your control. You're gonna have to accept that. You have more control over your life than you may think. I should have made this list when I was 12 because this is a long video and this is a long list. In my notes, I said I had to keep everything short. An hour long. So I'm gonna end it here. Keeping everything short. Let me know which one of these you want a little bit more expanded on. I'm gonna look at the comments until I get a mean one, and then I'm gonna cry and turn the comments off. So see you next time I post, and hopefully it's soon. If I post in another year, I'm sorry.